So this is going to be the second part, number 2.
Of my quarter one makeup project walkthrough. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the next section. I've already done the abiotic factors portion of this makeup project in a previous video. And let me go on ahead and do a quick screen share and let's get started on this. So
again, the makeup project is located under classwork and week 8. That's where you will find that. And the section that we are starting on is ecosystem roles, and there goes the lights. So we're going over ecosystem roles. Ecosystem roles are basically describing the relationship between organisms in an ecosystem and how they get their energy and their matter. It basically just describes how animals get their energy to move around and do the things they need to do, and the matter that they need to do it and to grow and all of that stuff. So you have producers, primary consumers, secondary consumers, top predators, decomposers. Producers are plants. They get the energy from the sun. That's why they're called producers. They produce energy for the ecosystem. Primary consumers only eat producers, meaning these are herbivores. So if it eats anything that moves, it's not a primary consumer. Secondary consumers eat other things as well as plants. So they can eat plants, but they also have to eat other creatures that move. So if you eat something that squiggles around and moves or tries to get away from you, you're a secondary consumer. And then finally, you have your top predators. Those are at the tip top of the ecosystem. Nothing else eats them. Okay, so that's the important thing. They cannot be eaten by other creatures. If they're eaten by something else, they are not top predators. They're secondary consumers. Okay, all right. Now, decomposers, they break down dead stuff. So if it's already dead and you eat it and break it down into smaller parts, well, then you are a decomposer. A vulture is a decomposer. It does not hunt. It does not prey on other animals. It does not eat vegetable matter. It simply breaks down dead animals, so things that have been dead for a while. So they are considered decomposers. Same thing as, say, roly-polies. All right, so I give you this to help you understand what these things are doing and how they get their energy and all that. And here are your instructions. Now, one of my project submissions so far, my makeup project submissions so far, have done this section correctly. So this is the most important video that I'm making for this quarter one makeup project because this is the section that everyone is messing up. The reason is because they're not looking at the instructions. I am looking for the species name of different things in the Amazon rainforest that meet these criteria. Okay, I'm not looking for tree. I'm not looking for flowers or monkeys. I'm looking for the specific species of tree or the specific species of monkey, like the black howler monkey. That's a species. Monkey, yeah, that's several classification steps up. And that's very general. And different monkeys have different diets, and different monkeys do different things. So you need to be specific. And then you need to explain how you know that organism fits into the ecological role in no less than 2 sentences. Okay? So again, this is another thing that people are missing is the 2-sentence thing. I'm getting like 1-word answers. Well, that's not good, and neither is a sentence fragment. So let's go ahead and get into this. Decomposers in the Amazon. They break down dead stuff. Well, let's just go on ahead and go to Google and type in decomposers Amazon rainforest. Just like that. And you get all sorts of stuff. Now, everybody wants to go on ahead and just pick the first ones right away. But it's generally better if you go get a specific species because then you know exactly what that specific species is breaking down. But I digress here. You can see there's oyster mushrooms, cap fungus, whatever this Partula snail, vermilion wax cap mushroom, that's a species, right? If you just type in leaf beetle, well, that's not really a species. There's several different types. The velvet worm, well, that is actually a species. So you can use these work just fine. Don't say fungi. Fungi is a class of organism, okay? If you want to do fungi, you can type in fungi of the Amazon rainforest and see what comes up. And you will find that there are lots of different types of mushrooms, fungi, in the Amazon rainforest. So let's see if we can find ourselves a species. All right, so I've scrolled down here. Now notice I didn't find the answer in the first half of this website. I had to keep scrolling down until I started getting to species names. And you know it's a species name because it's in Latin, number one, and none of us speak Latin, so it's going to be in a language you don't speak. The first word is the genus, and the second word is the species, and when you put them together, it's the species of the animal. The genus is always capitalized, and the species is always lowercase. So here are your different species of mushrooms in the Amazon rainforest, and you can click on or copy paste one of these bad boys, and you can type it in and see what comes up. And you want to click on one of these things. Well, that's not going to work apparently. Try this one. And what you're looking for, so if we go back to the project here, name, Cordyceps cylindrica, these are found. So we want to figure out where they grow, what they grow on. Because obviously they're in the Amazon rainforest. That's why we looked them up. So don't put that down. We want to see where they grow, what they grow on. So let's see if we can find that. So as I'm reading this, what I'm noticing is this cordyceps is actually a parasite. It's a parasitic fungus, and it grows on the insides of wasp. Go figure. So this actually takes over the body of different insects and breaks them down. So what I would do is, well, these are found in different species of wasp and ants. This breaks down the proteins, lipids, fats, I'll say fat, and fats of the insects it infects. And well, if it's lipid and fat, it's returning carbon and nitrogen and other important nutrients like that to the ecosystem. So it restores nitrogen, carbon, and other organic materials to the ecosystem. And then I need a photo, and I can go on ahead and just steal, say, this photo right here, so you can see this is the fungus growing out of the wasp. Kind of creepy, isn't it? Save image, cordyceps mushroom. By the way, we use cordyceps mushrooms to boost oxygen level in athletes. It's actually something that you can do. So this doesn't necessarily hurt you, but it does hurt the insects it infects. Upload from computer, boom, choose, size down. All right, so there you go. Now you have one example of a decomposer. You can do the next one. You can do velvet worm if you want. Just make sure we're getting species names. And by the way, how would you find the species name of a velvet worm? Velvet worm species. And now if you look, oh goodness, there's all sorts of velvet worm species. Maybe we should type in Amazon rainforest and see what comes up. And I have a sticky key. That's why I keep misspelling things. Okay, so here you go. It's got 70 different species down there of velvet worm. So you're gonna wanna pick one. Yeah, so that kind of gives you an idea what I mean when I say there's a lot of different species. And I bet you several of these are specific to certain types of plants or animals or whatever. So, you know, find a species, do what I did. Type a species name in there, type in diet or something like that, figure out what it eats, what it grows on, those types of things. Okay, I'm gonna go on ahead and move on. Think back to the soil questions and previous slides. Why are decomposers so important for the Amazon rainforest? If you go back to the soil section of this, right here, there's a little article that you were supposed to have read, and it talks about why decomposers are so important to the Amazon rainforest. And why that is. Because remember, the soil in the Amazon is really, really, really poor. So there's something special that happens in the Amazon much faster than anywhere else. And that's what you want to explain in this question right here. Okay? So I'm not going to tell you everything, but it's there. So, all right. Producers in the Amazon. This is plants. So you can literally type in plants of the Amazon rainforest. Plants of the Amazon rainforest. And you can pick any of these things. Now, don't say orchids, because that's an entire phylum or group of flowers. You need to specify which one. I'm just going to go on ahead and go with cacao, because here you go. I've got the whole thing. So cacao, which is theobroma cacao. By the way, theobromide is a chemical in chocolate that is toxic to pets, which is why your pets can't eat it. And funny enough, that's part of the phylum of plant, theobroma. They have theobromide in them. All right. So I've got the species name right here. Doing. Oops. So I would say cacao, that's the common name. And then in parentheses, there is that. And obviously, I'll fix the formatting later. Don't leave formatting like this. It looks ugly. Okay, thanks. All right, and this organism supports or is used by. Okay, well, if we go in here and we start reading about theobroma, let's type in cacao eaten by animals. Let's see, what animals eat it? Cacao trees, animal predators, or animals that eat part of the whole cacao plant tree are mainly monkeys, bats, squirrels, who eat the sweet pink pulp, soft, wet stuff that cushions the beans inside the fruit. These animals spit it back out on their journey through the rainforest. Okay, so this is used by monkeys, and it is used by bats and squirrels and other animals in the rainforest. So that's what you're going to go say, right? So this organism supports monkeys, squirrels, bats, and other similar animals by providing a food source for them. Boom. That's a full sentence, right? It's kind of what I'm looking for. Now, let's see if there's anything else that we can come up with on how this is used or what it's used by. Rodents, birds enjoy the sweet pulp. So it seems a lot of things like to eat the fruit. Let's see if cacao has flowers. Ooh, it does have flowers. And if it has flowers, that means pollinators are going to come to those flowers. So it is also, this plant also provides a pollen and nectar source for pollinators. And again, I have sticky keys here. My E, for whatever reason, doesn't like to work. Pollen. Why can I not spell pollen all of a sudden? There we go. Pollinators. It has an I, not an E. What are you doing, Mr. Clemmons? All right. And then I would grab a photo and stick it there, right? And I'm not going to go through that because you already get the point. So this is how you go about filling out the answers for your producers. And if I wanted to go even a step further, I would also explain that humans like to grow and harvest cacao to make chocolate and other tasty, delectable treats, right? So that's how you go about doing the producers section in the Amazon, okay? All right. And then you get to primary consumers. Primary consumers only eat plant material. So that can be things like bees, which survive on nectar, or hummingbirds, but we need actual species names, right? So you could go and type in primary consumers of the Amazon rainforest, and you could see what comes up. And you'll see that there's a lot of things that do come up. But macaws and monkeys, well, monkeys is a group of animals, and Again, we want species. Or you could type in herbivores of the Amazon. Boink. And that will be more specific. Because not everybody knows or classifies primary consumers correctly. So you got howler monkeys. Well, there's a species. Haha, it's not just monkeys, it's howler monkeys. And this one is the black howler monkey. Okay, so howler monkey, copy. Let's go and hit paste because we want the species name. Species, Amazon. Oh, they got a red howler monkey, a black howler monkey. We said black howler monkey, so we'll stay on point here. We're looking for the species name. To start off with, let me type in black howler monkey. And where is this classification? I should be able to find it fairly easily. Every animal has a species name. Maybe more specific. Black howler monkey, species, Amazon. Ha-ha! We found it. All right. Okay, sorry about that. I had a phone call, so this is going to seem a little disjointed. I don't remember where I left off, but I do know we were finding a species of howler monkey. So again, you can see I had an issue finding howler monkey, the species, because again, howler monkey isn't a species, black howler monkey is, or red howler monkey is. So Google is a computer. It gives you whatever you ask it. So if you're not being specific, it won't be specific. So here you go. Aulata nigerrima. That is the species name. Now they abbreviated the A here, so you actually have to get both parts of this. So copy, paste, and then I'll go back and copy and paste. Now, some of you are at home are like, hey, wait a second, you said I can't copy and paste anything. I'm copying and pasting single words. I'm not copying phrases. I'm not copying sentences. I'm not copying paragraphs. There's a difference between me not, wanting to sit down and write down the word and then retype it, and me just going on and being lazy and just copying, pasting everything and putting it in as an answer. Okay. All right. Just for those of you who think you're catching me. All right. So anyways, got that. This helps or supports the ecosystem by. Okay. So one of the things that we know about howler monkeys, they like to eat fruits and they like to drop the seeds behind. So I do know that, and I would find this information out by looking at its diet. If you go to, let's just type in black howler monkey diet, generally how things interact with their ecosystem is based on what they eat, what they forage, and how they go about doing that, how they go about acquiring the resources. So, pigs are really good at digging things up and finding truffles and whatnot, and that aerates the soil and does a lot of things for the ecosystem. So part of what they do for the ecosystem is they're looking for food. The act of looking for food creates all this aeration in the soil or creates tunnels in the soil and things like that. So let's look at what they eat. Black howler monkeys consume tree and vine leaves, flowers, and tropical forest fruits. Okay, if you're a fruit eater, you are supporting the ecosystem by spreading seeds. So if I'm a bird and I swallow seeds or fruits whole, I digest the fruit, but I don't digest the seed, and I poop the seed out, and then wherever that seed drops, a new plant is going to grow. So black howler monkeys are, we'll say eat a variety of, say, plant foods They like to eat fruits and they leave behind the seeds, spreading them out amongst the jungle. Something like that. I'm spitballing here. I'm doing this right off the top of my head. Is this a great answer that I put down? Not 100%. I would change the wording of this until it made a lot more sense. But basically, they eat a lot of different plant foods, so they keep the plant populations down, keep things from overgrowing. When they eat fruits, they disperse seeds and help spread different species of plants around the rainforest, because you don't want one species growing in one spot. You want to spread it out. And we've talked about why you want to do that. So in previous videos, like on biodiversity. Okay, so put a photo there, you're good to go. All right, moving on. Secondary consumers. Those are any organism that eats other organisms that move, right? So animals or bugs or things like that. If you eat one of those things, you're a secondary consumer. So that would be omnivores and carnivores. Omnivores, Amazon rainforest. Man, that E key is getting really bad again. Here we go. These are all different types of secondary consumers. Red-bellied piranha, the black tarantula. You have the orange and emerald Amazon tree boa. Those would be a good choice. Again, notice these aren't just boa constrictor, because boa constrictor is a group of animal, but the emerald Amazon tree boa, well, that's a species. So let's go ahead and use that. It's not on the top of the ecosystem. Now, I already know what I can use for my top predator, because nothing eats a jaguar. And I could do the same thing for the harpy eagle, because nothing really eats it. It stays out of trouble. But let's go on ahead and get our secondary consumer knocked out. Okay, so emerald Amazon tree boa. And actually, let's get the species name first. Okay, so the phylum is genus. There we go. Genus is Corallus caninus. Interesting. So emerald, green tree boa, and we said it was Corallus caninus. That's the species name. And then this organism eats. Well, that's what the diet word is. So I put in diet, and here's its diet. It eats birds, small mammals, and amphibians when they're young. So you would put down basically this. The emerald tree boa likes to eat things like bats, rodents, monkeys, and even amphibians. Voila! That's how you do that. Basically, they will eat anything they can catch. Voila! Add a photo, you're done with that example. Okay, and then finally, top predators. And as I said, I'm going to go on ahead and pick the Amazonian jaguar. So Amazonian jaguar. And let's see what comes up. So the genus name is Panthera, and its specific species name is Panthera onca. Okay, so jaguar, Panthera onca. All right. And what populations does it keep in check? That's the same thing as asking you what its diet is. So, jaguar diet. Jaguars are opportunistic hunters and can prey upon almost anything they come across. Capybaras, deer, tortoises, iguanas, armadillos, fish, birds, and monkeys are just some of the prey that the jaguars eat. So, what we want to do here is jaguars will eat anything they can catch. Some of the things it likes to eat are monkeys, tapirs. What else did it say? Fish, birds, armadillos. And more. Now, the reason this is an answer to this question is because if it's eating it, it's keeping its population from growing too big, right? So there you go. And then I would add a photo in here, and I would be done with my top predator.
So I just walked you through each section of this. Obviously, you got to go find more examples of each thing. I'm not going to give it all to you, but it's fairly straightforward. It was a lot easier than most of you made it. But just remember, you need the species name. It always starts with genus and then the species. The genus is always capitalized. The species is always lowercase, and it's always going to be in Latin. So you're not going to know what the word actually generally means because it's in Latin, which is a dead language, but it's what your language is based on. So, and then make sure you're giving me 2 sentences per answer, okay? And you can see how I've kind of gone about doing that for all these examples. All right, that is it for this video. Hopefully it's helpful. If you need any more help, additional assistance, please let me know, and I will do my best to help you. See you later.